respect to being able to ensure that one, damage is minimized such that any recovery, sir, can take place quickly so that one, people can put their lives back together, two, that the economy can recover quickly so that you can get back on your feet, sir, in a relatively short space of time. And so the discussions that took place, sir, centered around what would be some of the practical issues that we can put together in terms of funding and access to funding, the creation of fiscal space within not just Barbados but across the region, and the utilization of mobilization, sir, of other resources with respect to being able to engage in building greater resilience in the country. As you may be aware, sir, Barbados has completed a very comprehensive national coastal risk impact assessment, which is the very data, sir, that allows for uncertainty to be minimized, simply because now information, as you would appreciate, sir, that insurance price on risk, and where there's uncertainty, the premiums go up. And therefore, being the leader in the country with respect to having this LIDAR data available to us, sir, that it is one, contingent on us now to help our neighbors to get to that stage, because whilst we are at this stage now where we can assess critically our risk and share that information with the insurance industry, such that we can properly price risk, but two, sir, being able to plan with respect to climate events such that we can put in the necessary risk mitigation measures, which certainly has been ongoing for some time, but we have to accelerate those reforms within that. And part of the discussion centered around that. As you are clearly aware, sir, we do a lot of business with the rest of the Caribbean, and therefore, when other countries are impacted, so we may be spared from the direct impact of storms and hurricanes passing us, but when other countries are impacted and therefore the economies are not up and running, Barbados' ability obviously to trade in those circumstances is obviously compromised, and therefore it has an indirect impact with respect to the economy of Barbados. And the converse is the same, obviously, with other countries in the region. And so, therefore, the building of resilience regionally is critical, and that was, for the most part, sir, a lot of where the mobilization of regional resources were centered in terms of how we were able to mobilize that. And obviously, Barbados being will take over the chairmanship of CARICOM from January, and we intend to advance these discussions with respect to that so that we can set in motion, sir, a comprehensive plan to be able to respond in as short a space of time with respect to being able to build resilience, not just in Barbados, but building resilience across the Caribbean. And as you know, sir, we are fully committed to the integration process, and the reality is that we cannot build resilience in isolation of the rest of the region. And whilst we will take our actions, it has to be done in the context of being able to mobilize regional resources to be able to create opportunities for our citizens. So with that, sir, I beg to move that Head 34, stand part.
Second it. The question is that Head 34 stand part. All honorable members in favor, please say aye.
Huh?
Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Go to order number 7, sir. In the name of the Honorable Minister of Tourism and International Transport, to move the passing of a resolution to grant the sum of $473,561 from the Consolidated Fund, and to place it at the disposal of the government to supplement the estimates 2019 to 2020, as shown in the supplementary estimates number 6, 2019 to 2020, which form the schedule to the resolution. Head 27, Ministry of Tourism and International Transport, in the amount of $473,561.
Honourable Member St. James Central.
Mr.
Chairman.
Chairman, the matter before the House is the sum of money which is required for the government of Barbados to advance what has come to be termed the National Tourism Program. You will recall that earlier today, sir, the Honourable Member for St. Michael South Central, in her capacity as Minister responsible for investment, would have laid in this House a mandatory contract which is related to the same matter. To put it in its correct context, sir, for the first time ever, the government of Barbados was assessed by the IDB in the context of our national program with them to be eligible to treat tourism as a tool for development. And in the context of that country's strategy approach, for the first time ever, we are now in a position, sir, to advance a national tourism program, which really is constituted by way of a $20 million United States dollars disbursement, which will be used for a number of purposes. The first one, sir, is the development of a visitors center and an urban tourism route through the city of Bridgetown. And the second one, Mr. Chairman, is a digital marketing component where we will direct a particular portion of that money towards the development of Marketing Barbados via digital platforms and social media, etc. And the third one, sir, is a reconstitution of or refurbishment of Oistins and that aspect of the country's cultural heritage attraction. Now, Mr. Chairman, the specifics of the program really are that, or the specifics of the $473,561 are that there is a need to now employ a product specialist, a tourism product specialist, and also a finance specialist. The product specialist is the person who is going to be working with us in shaping out and refreshing that aspect of the country's tourism product that will be impacted by this program. And the finance specialist is the person, obviously, who is going to be charged with assisting in the management of the program and also the results matrix and operational plan, etc. I had mentioned earlier, Mr. Chairman, that we had today laid a mandatory contract, or that is simply a contract that amends the original contract with the IDB. It was laid in the House today, and the amendments, sir, were because of the fact that as originally contemplated, the contract was intended to have an airlift component. In other words, we were taking a certain percentage of that $20 million and putting it towards the supplementation of airlift into the island. I took the view, Mr. Chairman, that that is not necessarily the way we need to go because, as I've said repeatedly, we are looking at moving away from these minimum revenue guarantees. That MRG concept, sir, really does not allow airlines to have a stake in the game, does not allow us to extract from them a kind of role, co-equal role in marketing brand Barbados. And so we're doing away with that, and we are instead redirecting that sum of money towards the refurbishment or expanding the process of refurbishing tourism product in and around the city of Bridgetown. The second part of the amendment, sir, was basically because of the fact that there was supposed to have been the executing agency being the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. Obviously, sir, given the nature of the arrangements with Cabinet, the Barbados Tourism Investment, Inc. though so entitled and so styled, is really within the Ministry of Investment as opposed to being within the Ministry of Tourism. So as to make sure that it was a seamless process in terms of managing that fund or those funds. The contract is adjusted so that the Ministry of Tourism will be responsible, sir, for that aspect of the matter. And as I said, sir, the third part of the adjustment to the contract really was to allow us to place a greater degree of emphasis on cultural heritage tourism product and therefore be able to do those things that we need to do in order to make sure that Bridgetown and its surrounding environs reflect the UNESCO World Heritage Site that it now has by way purely of accreditation. As honorable members would be aware, that urban corridor, which will become a visitors corridor, which we will be channeling visitors through, will begin at St. Mary's or in the area of St. Mary's Church. We will then go through James Street, the area of where the Corey Street, where the old courts are, across from the Jewish synagogue, etc. Taking in also Roebuck Street, St. Mary's, St. Michael's Row, Queen's Park. Ideally, Mr. Chairman, sir, what we are trying to do is to capture a lot of the ancient aspects of the city of Bridgetown, capturing also obviously the Parliament of Barbados, the Museum of Parliament, the churches, the synagogue, etc., in order, sir, to make sure that there is a holistic experience of the built environment of Bridgetown in its history, in its historical context as possible. In its historical context as possible. No, Mr. Chairman, sir, Bel-Air, the old Bel-Air is not part of the site of the urban route, nor will it take us through Nelson Street, sir. With regard to the things that need to be done, sir, these are all part of the preliminaries in order to operationalize access to the funds. So because the IDB tends to be very meticulous and one may even say bureaucratic in the approach, we have to make sure that there are certain things that are done, boxes that are ticked off, so that as to satisfy them of the fullest possible transparency, the best possible approach to the management of the funds, and obviously the procurement of the finance and the product specialists are part of that. We have already put in place, Mr. Chairman, 3 other officers who were also part of the conditions precedent, and they were the project coordinator, the procurement specialist. They are in place, Mr. Chairman. There's also a need, or well, there was up until today, a need to lay that amended contract in the Parliament of Barbados. That having been done, we now just have to take it to the Solicitor General so that she can certify that all the things that needed to be done have in fact been done, and then that allows the IDB to be satisfied that we can proceed towards doing the things that we need to do in order to begin the process of transforming all the things that have been done in preparation and on paper in terms of the preliminaries now to seeing a lived reality, and the people of the city of Bridgetown begin to start to see the transformation, which will begin during the course of next year. I beg to move that head 27 in the sum, sir, of $473,561 stand part.
The question is at head 27, stand part. All honorable members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Twenty-seven. Honorable member for the city.
Mr. Chairman, I beg to move that you do now report to His Honor the Deputy Speaker the passing of 3 money resolutions in Standing Finance Committee.
The question is that I do now report to His Honor the Deputy Speaker, the passing of 3 money resolutions in the Standing Finance Committee. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
That's topping. No, that's probably topping. Wait. Huh?
The chairman has reported the passing of resolutions in committee.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that these resolutions be read a first time.
Question is that this resolution be read a first time. Members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I beg that these resolutions be read a second time.
The question is that this resolution be read a second time. All those members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that these resolutions be now agreed to.
The question is that these resolutions be now agreed to. All members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. This resolution is now passed. These resolutions are now passed.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, revert to government notices.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to give notice of the company's Economic Substance Amendment Bill 2019.
Second.
Revert to first reading of bills.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that the company's Economic Substance Amendment Bill 2019 be read the first time.
Question is that this resolution be read a first time.
Bill.
The bill be read a first time. All members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
Revert to government business, sir. In order number 15, in the name of the Honorable Minister of International Business and Industry, to move the second reading of the company's Economic Substance Amendment Bill 2018.
Member for St. Michael North.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, this is a relatively simple amendment and relates really to just a piece of information or detail, if you wish, that was, I could almost say, inadvertently left off when we dealt with this matter a few weeks ago. This matter relates to as you might recall, Mr. Speaker, when I went into great detail in my presentation before, in a short while, companies will be required to file annually declarations of substance indicating compliance with the economic substance legislation. And where there is a certain category called high-risk intellectual property companies, as defined in the legislation, it is presumed that they are not compliant unless they produce evidence that they are. And at Section 9, subsection 4, reference is made to what happens when the director of international business finds that a resident company, a Barbadian resident company, is not compliant. He is required on those occasions to inform the competent authority in Barbados, which is the Barbados Revenue Authority, which then exchanges that information with the jurisdiction where the company gives that information to the foreign competent authority of the country in which a holding company or the ultimate holding company of the resident company and the ultimate beneficial owner of the resident company is resident. Now, where the company is, that high-risk intellectual property company is incorporated outside of Barbados, that same requirement is to apply. But as it was worded here at 9 subsection 4B, it simply said that the director had a duty to forward the information to the foreign competent authority of the country or territory in which the company was resident, without saying, as has been said in the previous paragraph A, where the holding company, the ultimate holding company of the company or the ultimate beneficial owner of the company was resident. So all this is seeking to do today, sir, is to have subparagraph B of section 9, subsection 4B, to mirror really largely the provisions of section 9, subsection 4, paragraph A. And there are other minor amendments in relation to the title of section 7 and a renumbering of various subsections and so on as included in certain subsections, really technical matters. But that is the gravamen of the amendment sought today, Mr. Speaker. And with those few words, I beg to move that this bill be read a second time.
Beg second. Question is that this bill be read a second time. All those members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that Your Honor do not leave the chair, and this Honorable House resolve itself into committee for further consideration of this bill.
The question is that I do not leave the chair, and this House resolve itself in committee for further consideration of this bill. All members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
The House is in committee.
Clause 1.
Mr. Chairman, I beg to move that clause 1 stand part.
The question is that clause 1 stand part. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Mr. Chairman, I beg to move that clause 2 stand part.
The question is that clause 2 stand part. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Mr. Chairman, I beg to move that clause 3 stand part.
The question is that clause 3 stand part. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
Report.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that you do not report to His Honour the Speaker.
The Deputy Speaker. His Honour the Deputy Speaker.
His Honour the Deputy Speaker, the passment of 1 bill in committee.
The question is that I do not report to His Honour the Deputy Speaker the passing of 1 bill in committee. All honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it.
The chairman has reported to me the passing of 1 bill in committee.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that this bill be read a third time.
The question is that this bill be read a third time. All members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that this bill do now pass and be cited as the Companies Economic Substance Amendment Act 2019.
Question is that this bill be now passed and be cited and be so cited. All members in favor say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. This bill is now passed and so cited.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, that brings us to the end of government business for today, and also the final sitting for the year 2019. Throughout this year, we would have sat on several occasions, some of them late into the night, and I believe we would have been able to achieve a lot as a Parliament. But that could not have happened, Mr. Deputy Speaker, without the high-quality service that has been provided by the Clerk of Parliament and the staff, both permanent as well as temporary staff. And so it is my pleasure, on behalf of the Leader of Government Business, the Honourable Member for St. Michael South East, and all members on this side, to first of all wish the Clerk of Parliament and the staff of Parliament, and also the Honourable Leader of the Opposition and his family, and all of our constituents and the people of Barbados, a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous 2020.
And Mr. Deputy Speaker, may I associate the voices of those of us on this side with that of the Honourable Leader of Government Business in expressing similar sentiments and gratitude. Sir, I would want to wish you and yours well for the holidays. And to the rest of my colleagues in this chamber on the other side, certainly blessings for the holidays to them and their family as well. And I join with the honourable member from the city to express gratitude to the clerk and the other staff of Parliament, the marshals, beyond them, the ancillary staff, those who look after the communication system, etc. Certainly, it takes an effort on the part of everybody to make these sessions meaningful and to ensure that they carry to the Barbadian public. Before I sit, I would want to wish the whole of Barbados blessings and prosperity, a sense of peace for the holidays, particularly so to the constituents of the communities of St. Michael West.
Have any other members? Before we adjourn, I too would want to wish the clerk at the table to wish all members a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, on behalf of the Speaker, and of course, the honourable member for St. Philip North, who is not with us today. We'd like to wish her all the best. I'd like to wish those persons who are not here, the constituents from across Barbados, especially the constituents of St. George North, and to really encourage us to come back fresh in the new year to continue the business that we have started. So on behalf of this House, on behalf of the Speaker, who's not here today, we want to wish you all the best, members. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that the House be adjourned until Tuesday, 14th of January at 10 a.m. in the forenoon.
The question is that this House be adjourned until January the 14th, 2020. 2020.
Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Remember, members, the 14th of January 2020. 20. I had a topping moment at this time. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. This House is now adjourned until then.